Danelle Dodge.
Danelle, sorry.
Yes, that's okay. That's why it's at Vote Dodge. Makes it nice and simple for everyone. Name recognition, Dodge on many cars. So like I said, my name is Danelle Dodge, and I am running for Florida's 8th Congressional District. And I want to thank the Families for Safe Schools for their recent endorsement. I really appreciate that. And I was recently at the school board meeting here in Brevard County, and I want to say Misty did a wonderful job. And as we were all leaving the meeting, which Jabari kind of promised was going to be a little interesting, it was pretty calm. It was kept really well. And Misty said, "Don't you have something better to do than this?" And I thought, well, not tonight, because it's important that we travel around our entire district and participate in the things that matter to us. So that's why I'm wearing this orange t-shirt. It's Wear Orange Weekend to end gun violence. And some of you probably know that tonight is the remembrance at Rockledge Civic Hub at 7 p.m. So I'll be there tonight as well. It's also Pride Month, so happy Pride. And I just want to talk about a little bit about myself. I did grow up in public housing, and I feel like that I am a product of democratic policies. I am a product of opportunity that was offered through being able to go to Head Start, have free lunch, go to public school. I was a military wife for 10 years, and at that time my family needed to be on WIC, which no family, military family should have to be on public assistance. We should pay them what they're worth. And I feel that, thank you. Very true. And at that time, I was 20 years old when I got married, and my mom used to vote. She worked at the gas station, and we used to be able to vote at the public school, and we used to walk down to the public school with her and vote. But she wasn't what we would call today's like rabid political people, right? She voted and she taught us that we should vote, but it wasn't like, we are hardcore Dems or we are hardcore Republicans. And I grew up in Washington State, and we didn't have to register as a thing. You could just go and vote how you wanted to vote, and there was nothing like you had to check a box that I'm a this or a that, right? So coming to Florida was a different experience in that realm. And during my time as a military wife, I lived on the island of Guam for a couple of years. I lived on the island of Hawaii for a few years, and then I moved back to Washington State. And during that time, I was able to vote by mail. And I was always a registered Washingtonian voter, because that's what you can do when you're in the military. So vote by mail is very important to the military and people that are living overseas. So we need to make sure that we keep that up for those folks. And people that are at home. If you're disabled, it can be hard to get out to the polls. And so that's one of the pushes, the SB 90 law, where they have shortened the amount of time that you can stay registered as a by-mail voter. So if you have registered by mail in the past, check now and see if you're still registered. One of the things that we are doing as part of the DEC group is going around door to door and checking up with those people whose applications might have expired. I like to be a candidate of action. And one of the things that I think is really important is that we've had the opportunity given to us, and that we need to hold the door open for the next generation. The millennials that are coming up behind us, I was just this last week in Orlando, and Anthony was there, Ryan Morales was there, Aramis Ayala was there, and we were all standing up and with Rebecca Jones to say that Ron DeSantis needs to go. We don't want an authoritarian leader here in Florida. That is not democratic. And so Jack, I can't pronounce his last name, but Jack from Gen Z for Change had organized that rally. And even though there wasn't a ton of people there, you know, it was there, a lot of cameras, a lot of news media. And I have to tell you, and probably Joanne can say the same thing, it's not really easy to get in front of the media, even if you're running for Congress. They don't really care about you until you're actually in the office. So being able to have those conversations with those people and making those connections, as well as with our local candidates, with Anthony and Aaron and Misty, and working up and down the ballot to make sure that all of those people get elected so that we can work together as a team, because teamwork makes the dream work. Also, in my experience, I have been a childbirth educator and a doula for a number of years, and working with families at their most vulnerable time. That trust, I never took that trust for granted, and I will bring that responsibility and trust to the office of in representing the people of District 8. There's three things. Everyone says, what's your three things, right? That's the question they always ask you. And my three things are civil rights, human rights, and the environment. And because without those three things, we have no democracy, right? If there's no civil rights, if we can't vote, if we don't have rights over our own bodies, then that's not a democracy. If we can't say gay, if there's no, we're not voting against anti-discrimination laws and things like that, we don't have a democracy. And without a healthy Indian River Lagoon, without jobs and national security, health and safety that come from all of those things, we don't have a democracy. So we need to expand the Senate, right? We need to make sure that the House of Representatives is kept by the Democrats, and we need to make sure that our school board, the people sitting on our school board, represent the majority of the people. So like I said, I want to be a candidate of action. And you might have heard that we took a little trip to Washington, D.C. over Memorial Day weekend. And some people thought that that was not a real trip and were disappointed that the bus didn't go. But we flew instead, and we took our little mighty army. And the thing that was amazing to me was the feedback on the ground, right? So you're out there and you're protesting, and all these people from all around the country are coming up to you. And we had our little bullhorn, and we're like, we came all the way from Florida, and we're here to stand for women. And they were like, you're so awesome, and and everything. Can we take our picture with you? And so there was a lot of different media things that came from that. And we stood one day in front of the White House and the next day in front of the Supreme Court. And the day we were in front of the Supreme Court, there was a young lady who was 18 and a half years old, and her name was Summer. And Summer rolled up next to us and pulled out a sheet, and she attached it to the chain link fence that they have put up in front of the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court doesn't want us to be able to stand on their steps, even though they allow people to stand on the steps of Planned Parenthood. Boo, right? Anyway, so she attached her sheet and she rolled it out, and it had a message on it. She hung a couple of coat hangers on there, and then she got out another piece of fabric and started painting another message, and we walked over to her and we're like, hey, what you doing? And she said, oh, I come here like 5 times a week. I live around the corner, and I stand here every week with my signs because this matters to me. So there are younger people that are engaged, and we need to work with them. So we jumped on board with her, and we got our pictures, and we tagged Summer, and but we were really proud of her, and many in the community were proud to see us there. And so one of the things afterwards is we went to wander around the National Mall. We went to the Washington Monument, and up to the Lincoln Memorial, and over to Martin Luther King's monument. And it was extremely moving because you can see how much all of this means to America. And you can feel it, right? It's palpable. The people that are there and that particular weekend, because for freedom, that they died for these rights that they're trying to take away in the courthouse, that Governor DeSantis has tried to take away with his pen, and we can't let that happen. And the fact is that the people that are already in Washington have just been there too long. So many of them, it's kind of like here in Florida, maybe you've lived here for a long time, and so you don't really go to the beach like you did every week. And maybe you don't, ride your bike as much out in the sun, right? You're at home on your computer or doing whatever you're going to do. And the people in Washington are sitting up on Capitol Hill, and they're checking a box and they're doing their thing, but they're not out there with the people. It's all become commonplace to them, and they don't maybe understand how important it is for our democracy that they are part of the people. And I am not a politician. I have never run for office before, but I have felt compelled in this time of them trying to take away our civil rights, trying to damage our schools, and trying to close the door on opportunity for the people that are coming up behind us, that I just had to do it. I just had to say, this is my time, and no one's going to tell me it's not my time. No one should tell anyone it's not their time. If it's your time, the voters will let you know it. Okay? And I want to say that we are stronger together. If we all work together, we can make it happen. Spreadsheets don't win elections. People do. Passion does. So, with that being said, there's a couple of things I wanted to follow up with, and that is a couple of the things that we are working on right now. And that is, on June 15th, we're having a restaurant takeover at Lloyd Have Mercy here in Titusville. So if you want to come and have lunch or dinner with me, either from 12 to 2 or 6 to 8 p.m., come on over and we can chat in person. Also, Kits for Kids. I don't know if you've heard about the Kits for Kids. The Essence of Knowledge bookstore in Cocoa is collecting kits for kids And well, we named them Kits for Kids because they didn't have a name for it, and I thought it sounded catchy. And so either a donation or an actual kit. So I have little forms like this that you can take. You just put it in a Ziploc bag and fill it up like this, and you can give it to Michelle Davis at the Essence of Knowledge bookstore in Cocoa. They are collecting these because there is a tent city in Cocoa, and they have identified 47 children that go to Endeavor Elementary School that don't have permanent housing. So these kits are for those children. If we can get enough kits for those children, then we can talk to the school district in Palm Bay. There's also a tent city in Palm Bay. We don't want any of our kids that are currently experiencing homelessness to go without their basic needs. So if you're interested in helping us out with this, I have the information over here after this is over, and you can come and check that out. Let me see if there was anything. Oh, one last thing. So as part of our Shine a Light campaign, this is part of our Shine a Light campaign, is what we're doing is shining a light on small businesses in the community, on nonprofits in the community, and using our little bully pulpit that we have right now, which is not very big, but imagine if you're in Congress how big your bully pulpit can be. And to understand that if we work together, if we're putting this stuff out on social media, if we are putting our power to work for good, that we can make a difference in this community, and that we can bring things to the office. Joanne mentioned many things that Bill Posey is doing poorly, and another one is constituent services. He has bragged that he has saved $1 million from his budget that he has given back to the Treasury. Why does the Treasury want our tax dollars? Why don't we get our tax dollars used for us, right? Yeah. Absolutely. So we need to be getting that $1 million, and we need to say, hey, let's get us a grant advisor. So the Indian River Commission had just sent out something yesterday. It was on I shared it on my webpage that they had 100 grants available. Maybe the people that can qualify for those grants don't know how to fill out that information. They could contact our grant advisor and get help with that. What about parents trying to fill out the FAFSA? Raise your hand if you've ever tried to fill out the FAFSA. No, we need help with the FAFSA. And other just, issues that are for veterans, issues for healthcare, assistance with Medicare. We have a Gold Star widow that lives on our street, and she contacted Bill Posey's office because she needed help. Her healthcare provider had taken away her TRICARE, and so she tried to get it straightened out and got like zero help. And so she is not a big fan of Bill Posey. And there's other stories like that as well. So we need to work together. We need to stand strong. We need to lead by example. And we need to flip Florida 8 blue. Thank you so much.
Thank you.